The next chapter should be really interesting, just given how 21 left off. But I do want to go into my predictions on what's going to happen in chapter 282 because even though it's Wednesday, we'll probably get the tech spoilers today, if not by tomorrow. Usually I want to get my spoiler videos out on Tuesdays. I think I'm going to start aiming for Mondays because every time I do for Tuesdays lately, I've been procrastinating getting them out either too late or not at all. But talk about my belief of how the next chapter is going to go. I think that it's going to start out fairly simple when Asta is going against this ancient demon, and you're going to get like those, not that the giant energy beam, the one that it uses all four arms to use, but I think Asta after this is gonna there's gonna be like, oh, just the normal hand shots. You're gonna see maybe some like giant Asta black dividers, spreading out to slice into him to cancel him out. Maybe Asta's other swords being used in his devil union. And I know that idea of Asta having different unions for different swords, it's a cool idea, but it's something that if he does get it, I don't really think he needs it right now. Because just the fact that like Asta just got like union, we haven't even seen it yet. One for now is perfectly fine, but if later he can evolve it into having different different forms and variations based off his swords, I'd be okay with it. But I will say on that idea, we should definitely just set off on the one form for now. But when it comes to Asta 1v1ing this ancient demon, I don't think that it should just be Asta in the kind of grand scale of things. My hopes on how Asta defeats it is similar to when he like how he used to get his black form, how he had to take a moment to charge it up. Like there had to be a kind of a brief period of time that he has to prepare himself. So it'd be like all the other characters that are present are just doing everything they can to keep Asta, going, charging up that time. Because I think it would be really, really good for his image. Why is that important? I talked to a lot of the guys in like the Black Clover Every podcast. Go check out Josuke's channel, Quan Credible, RTL Faith, J Cloud, Jack Oates, all those guys, Roku, SG Samuel, everybody within that kind of group of that circle. I know obviously some of them don't show up all the time, but everybody involved in that. Well, I mean it's mostly just one of them, but you know what I mean. Actually, Sammy doesn't show up all the time. He's got his own thing. So regardless, go check out their content and stuff. They do more Black Clover content than I do. But after that plug, I do think that it could be bad for Asta, just given the fact he is using a devil's power in front of the people, and there has to be people that are like, oh, well, we don't care about that anymore. He's protecting us and whatnot. But there's definitely going to be people on the opposite side that don't care and would see him as part of the problem, as as a guy using devil power in order to, do something. But it doesn't really matter because look at the Zolgratis. They were using devil power and they ended up betraying the Spade one day. It could just be one of those things that's like, well, Asta could do he could be doing those things, but they could still fear him of the possibility of them. Kind of like there are people in DC that see Superman just in like what he could be and not what he actually is. It's like, yeah, we know he's always shown to be like a hero and a good guy, but he's so powerful. If he turned on us, it'd be a problem. It's like, who cares about if he's not doing anything? You know what? If you see all the other Magic Knights helping Asta, I think that would give a lot more incentive for people to trust Asta, because it's like, well, all these other really important people protecting the kingdom are all gunning for this guy. I think it would work really well, and plus, I do genuinely think that it would be better for Asta's balance and like where he sits right now in Black Clover if he has to charge up like some big attack in order to take down this devil, ancient demon, whatever. Just because if he just beats it one on one, flat out, just him, it's like, wow, then he should be perfectly fine going against Dante. Because I don't think that this demon is the same level as the demon licked. And there was some stuff before, like when we first got the demon that Marileona's fighting, it's like you could tell the obvious differences between the one that she was fighting and the one that Lumiere fought, the licked one. Because obviously the size difference, the wings, just the general like speed and flexibility it had. But this devil right now that we're seeing, attack the Clover, I don't see any differences in in its form anymore than Demon Licked. But we can just say just because what we know about Demon Licked that it should be more powerful, just based off of it starting out as Licked and having the magic stones also involved in the process. He should be more powerful than this one, I would assume. But to what extent we don't know. Regardless, if Asta just 1v1s this thing by himself, like it's nothing, then yeah, he'll jump so high up in level. And I'm not opposed to Asta being more powerful, but I think it would just be such a big jump after we saw him get, in reality, bodied by Dante. Because even Berserk Asta, the second Dante used a heavy infighting, completely demolished him. And we know when Asta and Yami were fighting against Dante, Yami had to help Asta on multiple occasions because of the fact that though Asta, is strong, and he's got like his own skills and his own talents, like obviously anti-magic against magic, but he himself just doesn't have the stats to keep up with someone like Dante, and that's why Yami had to help him. So it would just be a really, really massive jump to go from what Asta was doing to defeating this demon if it's by himself. Because like Kaiser, even though Kaiser isn't an offensive guy, Kaiser with all of the purple orcas were able to push this guy back a bit. Whereas like if Asta can just demolish them, it's like, well, then he's automatically better than a whole squad. And I granted he doesn't have anti-magic and stuff, but I don't think Asta should be able just to 1v1 it. Like, if this was, like, after a time skip or something, then Asta's, like, somewhere in his 20s, and he's been doing... And, like, how far we've seen his progress, and, I think it's, 18 plus months since, like, he got his grimoire. But at the same time, now I think it would just be too much. But if it's... like if he just like, hey, I need a minute to charge, and everything that like how fast stuff can happen in a minute, and like all the different events can happen, all these different attacks from this guy, and if all the other characters are just doing whatever they could to get Asta the time to charge up like some big ass attack to take him down, I think that'd be much better. Because like, say if you put Asta in a scenario where he doesn't have all this backup and he tries to use that, and it's just like, well, a character who's has some just like powerful hacks or is fast enough can just say, nope, I'm not giving you the opportunity. Like, if he was against Dante and he's trying to use it, Dante could just throw Singularity at him. And Dante has the ability to negate it, but it's like, if you're in this charged attack position, you're trying to boost this one thing up, then good luck trying to get this attack off. You know what I mean? It's like completely ignoring the whole, like, in Dragon Ball, how they just, for some reason, let characters power up. It's like, no, we're not doing that here. But if you can have something like that, and it's like the other characters assist them in order to do this, then sure, that's what I would prefer. Like, even if the fight like ends, like if they defeat this ancient demon in the next chapter, or if they defeat it 3 or 4 chapters from now, all I would like to